Alrighty, everyone, I am Blaze here. This is going to be the absolute last episode of the Bard Epic series. And I intended to put this in with the turn-in, but I was a bit too occupied at the time, and I don't feel like I could give it this fair justice. But first, let's take a look at it. So this is the Bard Epic. It is, what makes it really so special is that this. Increase the power of Bard songs by up to 80%. It's not that great of a mod relative to some of my other instruments. Like 140%. But it works as every single instrument, including singing. There's nothing that can modify singing at this era in the game. So it's an incredible instrument in that regard. It's useful for multiple expansions. And what's great about the singing skill is there's a lot of songs you can modify. On P99, you can modify mana regen with one of the singing skills. It seems like I can modify the amount of snare that's on this, how slow these mobs move. I can also, what's one of the cool things about this epic is that some songs require an instrument to be equipped to play, like Occlusion of Sound does, or Invisibility requires a wind instrument. Not anymore. There's no need to have a wind instrument anymore with the epic, since the epic will fill the role, essentially. And then the other thing the epic does is a 3-minute buff that I think it's a 55% haste. That's pretty nice. Let's make sure. P99 Dance of the Blade. 55% haste, 30 strength, 30 attack. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I did some testing with it. I found that on live, Cantata is still better for mana regen than using Cassandra's Chorus of Clarity with the epic, but I found that the modification put on the damage shield twist is insane. So if I twist McVaxius with one of these 4 damage shield resist songs, and I put on my my own Singing Steel Bracers, Shield of Flame, I got the DS up to 47 points of damage just by myself. And then what I also noticed is that if I asked a mage to put Aegis of Fire or something, Aegis of Ro, onto myself, and I tested it out then, it went up to 73. So the damage shield that you can put out with the epic is insane. Now, that's with a really good brass instrument. You need a brass instrument to modify McVaxius to get that damage shield up, but I couldn't modify any of these resist damage shield songs because they're singing skill until I got the epic. So that's why it's so much higher now. So, let's get into it, shall we? I want to thank so many people who have been invaluable toward this achievement. This is the first epic that I've ever gotten playing Everquest, and I've been playing this game for a very long time. I've been playing Bard for a long time, and this really does mean a lot. First, I'd like to thank my dad, who he showed me this game when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old back in the early 90s. He ran a we played on Bertoxless, and he ran a pretty hardcore raiding guild called the Warlords of Steel, where he was a main ranger. And it was so much fun as a kid watching those raids, especially with the AA abilities, come Luklin of the Infinite Quiver or something. That was, and headshots, man, that was fun to watch. Just the smackdown that he would lay, and how all the rangers would compete about having the highest ATK value. It was really fun. Anyways, so he got me into the game. He's like, here, try it out. So I made a character, first character ever, John Peter. barbarians because they look so cool. Barbarian warrior. And I had no idea what I was doing back then. I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, but it was the most fun thing ever. And I remember eventually I kind of got sick and tired of how limited warriors were, so I changed to bard. And that's where it all started. First started playing bard. After I deleted John Peter, remade him a human bard. Got up to 51 again. Never really got past that. That was a long time ago. And I do owe this game a bit of credit where it's due. It kind of gets me when people say video games are evil. They just rot your brain, or they're no good. They're just horrible for you. I couldn't disagree more. I absolutely couldn't disagree more. When I was a little kid, I couldn't type. I wasn't super great at reading. I wasn't very good with literacy just in general. And honestly, school wasn't that motivating. School, the way school framed learning English and becoming fluent with the language and becoming better with it was so boring, was so unmotivating, was so passive. And EverQuest actually made learning how to read, learning how to type, learning how to spell, it made that fun. It made it incredibly fun. EverQuest, I honestly give it credit where it's due. It's the game that taught me literacy. It's the game that got me A's on every single English exam I've ever gotten in school. It's the game that did that for me. And as well as the degree socialization, because I played some other MMOs, and it's just sad how isolated they are. This game, what I love about it is the teamwork where you have to work with other people. This game requires other people. And that's where EverQuest is at its best. It's not when you're alone by yourself, but it's when you're with other people. Absolutely. The teamwork, the friendships that you build. So, anyways, the next thanks that I would like to give out to is to Lout on P99. When I got back into playing EverQuest again, I checked out P99 because I wanted to see what bards were like in the classic era, before all the nerfs. Because when I left EQ1, I got up to 51, but my dad, he made a choice to swap over to EQ2. We played EQ2 for maybe a couple years, and I got up to max level there for the first time, 85 Troubadour, bard again. But I always had this hankering going back to the original, because bards on EQ2 are nothing like what they are in EQ1. Absolutely nothing. They're a shell. They're an absolute shell of what the class used to be. And I never even got to experience the class prior to all the nerfs. So, tried out P99 and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing what bards can do there. With AoE swarm kiting, with charm kiting, dot kiting, with the amount of utility that they bring to the groups. And just you're always doing something as a bard because there's no melody command at all. You are so incredibly busy and having to constantly swap instruments, and it was fun. Absolutely fun. I enjoyed it. And the first guild that I joined there on P99, the first guild that I ever really raided with in EverQuest was Kittens Who Said Meow. And the guy who kind of took me on as who mentored me was Lout. And even throughout this epic here on Mangler, he's been helping out, giving advice on how to do various different targets or get various different pieces. And it's been much appreciated, man. You are the most knowledgeable person about Bard class that I've ever known. This guy knows intricate little details that even I don't know, even though I know this class very, very well. It was really cool. He was always very helpful. I would ask him questions and he would always answer them, even though it probably got annoying every once in a while. So thank you a lot, Lout. Kind of a shame how our memberships in Kittens ended, but hey, you know what? You move on. Still, incredible guild. I love that guild. And then now let's talk about here on Mangler. So I like to give thanks to everybody, absolutely everybody in Midnight Rations. If it was not for everybody that came to those raids, we often had 70 plus people. If it was not for all those people, this would not have happened. Absolutely not have happened. And I thank everybody in this guild for what they've done. It's a pleasure. Um, there's some people I'd like to specifically mention, but even if I don't specifically mention you in Midnight Rations, please don't take it as an insult. You were involved in some way or another. And I thank you for your effort, and I thank you for your help. Some of the people that I would like to give special thanks to in Midnight Rations, definitely Rhea and or Gamut, who led the guild out from the beginning. Mana Burn, man. Effer, man, Effer, you're so helpful. Effer just gave me a port for my Necro. Effer leading a lot of the raids now. Effer has been very helpful. Grouped with him a lot. Saniva, absolutely. Saniva helped me get that Chroma Drac gut out in Skyfire. And Saniva was someone I grouped with very first. I think Mana Burn and Saniva were some of the very first people I've ever grouped with in the Bard. I mean, not the Bard's Epic series, but just the Bard series, just in general. Yeah, I think I have them in Ocean of Tears, grouping with them. Definitely thanks so much to Mama-san, actually. Thank you so much, Mama-san, for the MQ of the Kedge Backbone, and I've grouped with a couple of your alts, and you're also a veteran. I thank you so much for your service to the United States. I thank you so much for all the support and the really cool attitude you have, the really friendly attitude. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your help, and thank you to Hoja. Absolutely. Thank you to Hoja, who I've grouped with so many times. He helped me level up on Aeonic. Hoja boxing a whole. Oh man, that guy brings his own raid. That guy brings his own raid, and I love his friendliness as well. Great guy. Thank you to Cyprin, with the guy who has even a bigger box raid. Like I remember, I grouped with 9 characters. He had 9 characters. He helped me get a couple things, and I appreciate that. Thank you to Cressens, who helped lead the guild after Rhea left. He did a really good job. He did a really good job. Thank you to Dabbles for a lot of the off-night fun that we had. Sam Zinix for helping out with the Drollvark Warlord head. And Palius, and there was a couple of other people too that helped out with Malagar. Most people in this guild, in some facet or another, have helped me get this epic. And if I didn't mention your name, still thank you so much for doing that for me. Yeah. Because Aeonic here, this is the first level 60 I've ever gotten playing Everquest, and now this Singing Steel Short Sword is the first epic that I've ever gotten. And I thank you so much to everybody who's been involved. It's kind of cool how I'm actually a musician in real life. I'm a songwriter. I've written 9 albums as of this year, 2019. And it's so cool to play a class in a video game that really kind of reflects the jack of all trades I sort of am in real life, and the creativity that comes along with it. So anyways, came here because I think it's just the most beautiful area in the game down here in Timorous Deep. And I love this little graphic, the little notes coming off of it. So thank you guys all for watching, and I shall see you in, I guess hopefully we'll finish the Necro Epic next. Just 2 pieces away. We'll do that. Thank you guys so much for watching this series. Thank you guys all so much. Even the people who, not in the guild, but the people watching these videos, thank you so much for the support. And I shall see you in the next one.